Hello and welcome to this session. My name is Dima Shatara, and today we're going to talk about one of the interesting topics on the front of cyber in talent in cybersecurity, and that is the untapped talent of women in cybersecurity. We're going to talk about topics like the future cyber talent profile that is needed in the market, the equilibrium between the demand on the cyber talent and the influx of the talent in the market. We're going to talk about how the MENA region is doing on the front of taking advantage of the full potential of women in cybersecurity. And for that, I have a very unique group of female cybersecurity experts that are joining me on this session. Thank you very much for joining. I'd like to introduce Ms. Abeer Khedr. Abeer is the head of cybersecurity at the National Bank of Egypt, and she's also the co-founder of Women in Cybersecurity Middle East Group. Abeer has been recently awarded among the top 50 influential people, women in Egypt, for her work in the community on cybersecurity initiatives, and was named as one of Egypt's 30 successful women and one of the 100 global CISOs. Thank you very much, Abeer, for joining us. Ms. Ruba Darwish. Ms. Ruba Darwish. Ruba is the country manager at BNB Jordan. She's also a board member at Intaj. She has also held several other positions before as general manager before her current position. She's a business leader in the domains of digitization, cybersecurity, big data management, and analytics. And she has participated in many technology-related conferences, both as a moderator and as a speaker. Thank you for joining us, Ruba. We also have Ms. Nada Khater. Nada is the head of digital transformation policies strategies at the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship of Jordan. Nada participated in setting national cybersecurity strategy, laws, and policies as well. And she was one of the selected professionals to analyze the global security index for the Arab countries with the aim of improving the global ranking of Arab countries. Thank you, Nada, for joining us. I also have Ms. Arwa Alsalamah. Arwa is a cybersecurity engineer at one of the governmental institutions in Saudi Arabia. She holds a master's degree in information assurance and cybersecurity and has several publications on the topic of cybersecurity. And she has recently won the award of Women Cybersecurity Consultant for the year in 2021. So thank you very much, ladies, for joining me. It's my honor to be with you on this session. So basically, to start off, Abeer, if you can help us understand how do you perceive the evolvement of the cybersecurity field in the very recent years, and how do you see the effect and the role of cybersecurity on our daily lives, on our businesses, on our countries and governments?
Thank you, Dima, for this question. Hello to our audience. I'm very pleased to be with you today. Of course, cybersecurity nowadays is impacting almost all aspects of our lives, especially since the start of the pandemic, and we're seeing an increase in online shopping. And of course, with that comes online fraud and cyber threats. And this does not only impact the large businesses or the large organizations, but it also impacts SMEs, the small medium enterprises. It even impacts students. The other day, I was giving some advice and awareness to college students who are becoming now, more financially independent from their parents. And I was giving them advice how to detect online scams and fraud scams and phishing scams. So it's impacting our lives from every aspect. But of course, the real challenge is for the larger organizations, especially where I come from in banking, because since the start of the pandemic, we're witnessing, an unprecedented pace of accelerated digital transformation. Banks and other organizations are, trying to offer more and more of their services online to their customers. So that they can do their services from the comfort of their homes. They are trying to avail all those services from the different channels. from internet banking to mobile banking to even disruptive technologies like blockchain that we use for remittance transfers, quick remittance transfers from the Gulf. And in addition, of course, to electronic wallets and now open banking as well, which means more integration with the third-party systems and all that. Of course, this means that you're living now in a world where there are practically no borders anymore. So the attack surface is constantly evolving, constantly widening. So with all that threats, and of course you're not just being subject to the threats normal organizations face. No, in banking as well, you are facing specially targeted attacks from different threat actors, from the skilled hackers to the cyber criminals who are after the money in banks, to the even hacktivists, to all different types of threats, in addition to the threats other organizations face, like malware and ransomware. We've been seeing in also the last 2 years a spike in ransomware attacks affecting several organizations. We're seeing even threats coming from your trusted partners, from software supply chain. And all of this you want to address to your weakest link, the human being, the employee, and the customer. You want them to be aware of all those threats in the evolving threat landscape. This necessitates that, of course, a large organization or a bank constantly works on evolving its cyber resilience programs to be able to address those threats. And of course, this requires also that you have the right cyber security talent employed and happily working, and that the organization does its best to retain them. This is a challenge, and only a diverse cyber force would be able to address it.
Correct. That's very insightful. So you gave a very good brief of how the cybersecurity field has evolved over the past few years, and especially with the pandemic hitting us, and how that transformed the whole field. Now that we understood how it evolved, now Ruba, can you help us understand what are the expected trends of cybersecurity in the coming future, and what is basically where is the space heading?
Okay, thank you, Dima. Just allow me to initially express my gratitude to have women in cybersecurity on this panel. I think this is very, very important to stress, because this shows the opportunity out there for all women, that you can be in this field, and you can excel, and you can be a manager or a director. So for me, having you ladies with me today on this panel really, I think, opens a lot of doors and showcases a role model in cybersecurity. So I just wanted to stress on this point. Now, Dima, with regards to trends, I want to capitalize on a few things that Abeer had said, because I believe cybersecurity is a mindset. It's how we think, how we operate, how we address our daily lives. It's not only at a corporate level, however, it is also on an individual level, on the way we use social media, on the way so cybersecurity, and this is one of the key trends, it should be by design. And when we say by design, it's not an afterthought. It's not after you launch something yet that you think of the security of that thing. You actually think of security in parallel with everything you do, with any solution or platform or program or coding or whatever you do as an organization, as a vision, as a strategy. Cybersecurity should be a core part of that. Having said that, and having Abeer mention the digital acceleration part, which means that everything now is out there. Everything is online, everything is exposed. So So it means that we need to be more careful. It means that we need to look at cybersecurity on a cloud level. There are a lot of solutions out there now addressing cybersecurity of the cloud, because a lot of corporates are moving to cloud. So we're talking about different solutions, like, I'm not going to go into the technicality of it, but like the Zero Trust framework, the CASB, and so forth. The second thing is awareness. Awareness, and I also link that to the weakest link. The weakest link of any breach is the human. So creating a more awareness program, having corporates conduct more awareness platforms to their employees. One more thing, it's going into a proactive mode rather than a reactive mode. So having more experts that are more proactive. We're not only defending, we're trying to predict what hackers are going to do or whom they're going to target, and create analysis around that. And there's one very, very important part, which is related to modern privacy law. Now we see the world moving forward to having more privacy laws invested. We know about GDPR, but now we also have LGPD, CCPA, and more to come. So that's another trend we're gonna see in the coming future. And one very, very important trend which has evolved recently because of the digital acceleration, because of the value and importance of cybersecurity, it's the way investors look at companies they want to invest in. They look at the cybersecurity aspect, they look at the risks attached to that, and they take that as a major factor into their decision if they're gonna invest into that startup, into that company, or they're not. So this is just a quick brief of the trends we're gonna see moving forward.
Thank you, thank you. That was very helpful in understanding where are we heading to. Arwa, would you like to please also give us your thoughts on where are we heading in terms of the cybersecurity field? And before you answer, please, I would like to remind everybody on the panel that we can receive your questions in the Q&A section. Arwa, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dima. It's my pleasure to be with you all ladies in this panel. And of course, as Ruba said, we have to be in proactive mode. Regarding to this, I would like to also mention that definitely the business has changed a lot, and the impact of cybersecurity increased as well, since we are facing different challenges and using new trend in technology. I would like to mention 3 trends. I think Ruba mentioned most of them, but I would like to take 3 trends that I want to highlight. The first one, using remote work model, as we are right now using Zoom to do online conference or online meeting like other employees do. As you know, the COVID-19 pandemic forced most of the organization to use the remote to shift their work from traditional work model to the remote work model. Currently, many employees are working from home and using specific or special solutions to work from home or work remotely. So it's like MDM, VPN, online meeting platform, Zoom, WebEx, and so on. As a result, those solutions present a new cybersecurity risk. The organization should make sure to identify those risks, ensure to mitigate all the vulnerability related to those solutions. Also, they should ensure to have proper configuration, proper implementation, and proper documentation. I see a lot of the organizations started to develop and create policy and procedures, especially for the telework. Here in my country, in Saudi Arabia, we have the National Cybersecurity Authority, NCA, has published a special framework to assess the telework control in regard to cybersecurity controls. The second trend I want to talk about, the IoT devices. There is expansion in the using IoT devices, and they are a threat for us because it's exposed to the internet and share our data. Therefore, we have to make sure that we identify all the controls, we have all the skills to protect ourselves from those devices. As many of us, we are wearing smart watches, smart system, smart home, those devices exposed to the internet, and we need to make sure, as we are using those devices, we need to make sure those solutions are protected. The second trend I want to talk about, data security and data privacy. Those trend or those topics important for us. As Ruba said, there are strict laws and like GDPR. In Saudi Arabia here, we have also NDMO. Especially, they have published special policy and procedure to protect our data. So those trends require from us the skills and the qualification that we need to ensure that our student, our employee, our new generation, that they are aware of those trends in cybersecurity.
Great, thank you, Arwa. So Nada, we've seen how the field has evolved. We've seen the trends that are coming into our way in the near future. How do you believe this will reflect on the type of talent that is needed in the market? And will we be restricted to the technical skill set and profiles, or do we look beyond the technical skill set for our future cyber talent?
Thank you, Dima. First of all, I would like to show it's my pleasure to be with you ladies today in this session. Actually, cybersecurity is a booming industry, as you know. Job opportunities for people with cyber skills are increasing like never before. Based on some studies, in the next 5 years, there are skills will be grow very fast, which are related to cybersecurity industry, application development, cloud security, risk management, threat intelligence, compliance and control, incident response, and much more, many, let's say, applications and fields. As you see, cybersecurity is more than just technology. In fact, it's the human element that makes the difference. There's really a need for both training and certifications for newcomers to the field and for the current professionals in order to enhance their abilities and professionalism. Also, crucial is to increase the awareness for cybersecurity itself to a wider audience, helping non-technical staff become, let's say, the human firewall every organization needs to face current and future attacks. I believe that the most critical factor for increasing cybersecurity recruitment involves the image of cybersecurity conveys. I think there is a misunderstanding of what cybersecurity requires when it comes to skills. Of course, there is a technical knowledge that must be acquired, but just as important as soft skills, such as ability to prepare, analyze, learn, prevent, adjust, react. All these soft skills is very important as much as the technical know-how. In my opinion, cybersecurity is a whole industry which requires different expertise rather than the technical specialist. Some examples like policymakers, risk management, legal and regulation experts, business operators. And in addition to that, it's very important to build the capacity, training and awareness, change management programs, and establishing communities related to cybersecurity. In brief, cyber talent, it's more about talent than cyber. That's it.
Perfect. So in essence, Ruba, as Nada explained, we need a diversified talent in the future to embark on the challenges that we have and be able to keep up with the trends that we expect in cybersecurity. In terms of female talent, where do we stand here, and what do we bring to the table to accommodate for the changing talent profile?
Okay, so we have example here of great women leading in cybersecurity, and I think it's one of the greatest examples we have. But let me capitalize on what Nada, Arwa, and Abeer have already mentioned. The cybersecurity is a big word. It's not one thing; it's many things. Under that umbrella falls a number of specializations and a number of skill sets that we need. When we talk about cybersecurity, in which domain? Are we talking in education, healthcare, public sector, private sector, banking? regulation, which domain are we talking about? Because each one of these domains has its own requirements and criteria. Any cybersecurity grad needs to understand the difference between OT related, or when we talk about utility companies like electricity or water companies and so forth, and between the banking sector. You cannot have the same person working in either, because there are understanding of the way organizations work, what is required from a technical and from a business part. So this is something that's quite important. It's also important to understand that because cybersecurity is a huge umbrella that has many things that fall under that, it means that there's a huge opportunity for everyone to work, women and men. And I will focus on women in particular, because with remote work opportunity, it means that women will have the opportunity to work in cybersecurity. They can be analysts that work out of their homes. They can be, of course, cybersecurity analysts. They can be threat hunters that work out of their homes. They can be data scientists that work out of their homes. So today, it just like knocks over any borders that we used to have. In some functions, of course, you need to be on site, but in a lot of more verticals now that we see, you don't have to be on site. And having said that, it is across multiple verticals. It means if you're like working for a hospital, you can be specialized in cybersecurity, and you can take and capitalizing on what Arwa said in IoT. IoT is a big threat today. So you need to have experts in that field. The regulatory part is quite important. That's a huge domain by itself, because with regulations, it has to be a balance. It has to be a balance with what's allowed and what's not allowed, because at the end of the day, if everything is not allowed, then it would hinder the digital transformation journey for any organization. So how do we balance that? So we need people that understand and focus on that. Cloud security is another aspect of cybersecurity that we need to look at. We need to look at cybersecurity with the telecom sector, with the service providers. We need to look at cybersecurity in defense. Like, for example, in defense today, across the Middle East, you'll find a lot of organizations that are popping up. So they would need experts in digital forensics. So all of these opportunities are opportunities for women. And the nice part is that we're having more and more establishments focusing either on graduating cybersecurity experts or providing courses in the cybersecurity field, at least to give you the initial level of understanding of what you need to do next.
Thank you, Ruba. Abeer, how do we assess the current involvement of women and females in cybersecurity in our region, in the MENA region?
Yes, thank you very much. An interesting perspectives, Ruba. I think yes, there is opportunity for so many types of job roles. So this is what we need to clarify to the new talent, that there are lots of opportunities in the different domains of cybersecurity. It's not just one thing or one specialization, so many specializations. So I agree with that. Now, women are starting to do very good in MENA, I think, in cybersecurity. We're seeing the global numbers are improving. So some surveys that take you from 11% in the past years to now a growing 24% penetration for women in cybersecurity. That's good. But in MENA, although we don't have the specific statistics because there is no specialized survey that got the numbers, however, we're seeing, a lot of female role models now and senior leadership also in cybersecurity. That's in the past 2 years. I'm seeing, and I'm speaking because in Egypt I see on the ground that actually in the large banks you have the CISO is a woman. So we have many women leading cybersecurity, especially in the banking sector, and I see this also in the region, in the Gulf countries and in North Africa. More and more women in cybersecurity are, joining the field and also starting to take leadership positions. Of course, this is not what we aspire. This is not, we did not reach our objective yet. More work needs to be done, but it's very good progress. And if progress continues like this, then MENA region may be ahead of other regions globally in women in cybersecurity penetration in that domain. Because I'm seeing also in the MENA, we have in the MENA region, we're having very nice cooperation. Women are supporting other women. You know, sometimes not in all cultures, you don't find that. But I speak out of personal experience. When I first joined the bank, there was a woman who's now, of course, deputy chairman. She was supporting me, and she was, you know, guiding me through. You know, that's a large bank. There are different large teams and departments, and it's very huge. So she was guiding me, she was supporting me, and giving me the opportunity, you know, to speak out in you know, large meetings. You know, before COVID, we had those large meetings that had many people joining, and maybe, you know, women don't get the sufficient time to speak or the sufficient opportunity to speak up. No, she supported me with all of this, and in my turn, I tried to do the same with the girls and women in my team. I tried to do the same with girls and women in other banks and other areas, industries. So we have this, you know, particular feature in the MENA region where women are really helping other women, and this would help and support the new generation to succeed in the field. However, what we lack, and this is a good point for us to discuss now, is women in cybersecurity startups. Already in the region, we don't have so many startups in cybersecurity, and definitely there is very little women. I'm not seeing in Egypt actually any women who has ventured to you know, build a startup in cybersecurity. So I think the whole ecosystem needs to support more and more having cybersecurity startups, because this supports the new generation, the new talent in general, and particularly, of course, to encourage women to have their own businesses in cybersecurity. And I'm sure they would succeed as they succeed in organizations and corporate environments.
That's a very important point on the startups. And since you mentioned there's a positive progress in terms of the involvement of women in cybersecurity, I would like to ask Ruba, from your long experience in corporate world, what tactics in terms of talent acquisition and management have you seen really work for the sake of acquiring and maintaining women in the field? Because we usually have some dropouts or attrition in the level of middle management for women. So what did you feel that really works?
Okay, so the thing is that I want to just bring attention to one thing I missed on the earlier question. It's very important to understand that when we talk about women, it's not that we're eliminating men. We are talking about two entities that complete each other, men and women, and this brings in a completely different perspective into any situation, any cybersecurity situation, because we think differently, and we shed light on something that men might not see, and vice versa. So we are supporting women all the way, because I believe that women were not always given the right opportunity, but it doesn't mean that we are not encouraging men and women to work collaboratively together to push forward the region, actually, and have women contribute to our digital economies. And what Abeer has mentioned is quite important, because having women in the field doesn't mean they are employees. It means that they can be startups, and having more startup women in cyber and in other tech fields is quite important to the independence of women in one way, and also to the contribution of the economies, and starting up a completely new level. We always used to say that mid-level has disappeared. I believe startup is the contribution to the middle level of any society, and actually it pushes it forward. Now, with regards to having more women stay on for a longer time, I think a big contribution to that are governments, right? Because if governments push forward flexible working hours, if government push forward and ensure that you as a woman, if you need to take some time off to have a family, it doesn't mean that you don't come back and find your job waiting for you there. So it's like the regulations, labor laws, flexibility, opportunity by, even if I need to take like a maternity leave, what's can I work from home? Yes, I can work from home. I can contribute. I can still be there, though I'm not physically present. Another thing to look at is that women need to believe in themselves, because if I believe in myself and I know I can do it, then I will be able to do it. There's a big scarcity in the workforce today. There's a big scarcity in cybersecurity. We have in 2025, 3.5 million cybersecurity opportunities out there. So if it means that the opportunity is it's huge, it means that women should be able to be part of that, and the skill set is needed. So it's all going to be about your skill set, your experience, your know-how. It's not going to be anymore are you a man or a woman? No, it's going to be who you are, what are you contributing. So this is a very, very important aspect to look at, and it should push women forward into venturing more into the cybersecurity field, because again, it's a huge field, it's a big umbrella, and skills are needed. Now, as I said, because there's such a huge gap between the skill set available and the number of people available to work in cybersecurity, we need to compensate with other tools. So such tools are AI, artificial intelligence tool, automated machine learning tools, robotics, that are able to compensate for the lack of resources out there, and will help us fill the gap. Because at the end of the day, we will always have this gap. Unfortunately, so far, as much as we try to minimize risks, attackers are always a step ahead, because when you are an attacker, you know what I don't know. So you will always be a step ahead. So what do we do? How do we act? We need to use AI tools. We need to use robotics. We need to use predictions, understanding more of the environment, of the way they act, sandboxing platforms, and so forth.
Very, very important points on the talent, and we'll go back to the talent gap issues in a bit. But I'd like to ask Arwa on the national cyber agenda that we have in the MENA countries. Do you think that we need to instill something there to ensure the involvement of women? And do we have any examples in the MENA region where we have a national cyber agenda that actually adopted the involvement of women?
Thank you, Dima, for asking this question. It's an important topic to know exactly what support MENA women currently have in the cybersecurity. I would like to take my country, Saudi Arabia, as an example or case here to talk about their efforts and their initiatives to support women in cybersecurity. Saudi Arabia has come a long way in the field of cybersecurity. In fact, Saudi Arabia cybersecurity sector has witnessed a high percentage of women in the rate of participation, reaching 45% of women in cybersecurity, according to the latest statistics published by Saudi Federation for Cybersecurity Programming and Drones. In addition to that, the government of Saudi Arabia has established the National Information Security, NCA, in charge of as a government entity in charge of cybersecurity in the country. The NCA has different initiatives. One of the initiatives to start a training program, they call it Cyber Pro Program. The Cyber Pro Program has different programs for women, for male, for student, for employee. And they have different levels of training. They have beginner, medium, advanced. And I see this program and the training is a good example for MENA region to support the women. As for me, I already joined this program, and now I'm in an advanced level. They support me with international certification, international training. In addition to that, the NCA, they have different career fair, they have different conferences. In 2020, the Global Cybersecurity Forum was held in Riyadh, and they launched 2 initiatives. One of the initiative to protect children in cybersecurity. The second initiative about women in cybersecurity, empowering women in cybersecurity to support the women in leadership position and their program and developed program. This is an example from Saudi Arabia. And in addition to that, I would also to mention the group that I really admire, women in cybersecurity in the Middle East. They have the very good networking group. They have a conference. They have different, I think, development programs. So these are examples for the MENA women, how they get support in cybersecurity.
Great. I think this is a great example that all other countries can really adopt. It's a great governmental push to involving women and cyber talent in general, females or males. Yes. It's just a great initiative. Thank you for that information. It's very insightful. So, Nada, if we look at the talent globally, there's a gap between the talent demand and supply for cyber talent globally. MENA region is we also have the same issue of that gap. Now we have the organic path of universities graduates going in and going to the market, but are they really in a position to be ready for immediate deployment into the market? And what basically challenges do we have with that organic path of universities then market in cyber?
Thank you, Dima. Actually, for sure, we need the organic path of university graduate, but it's not enough to fill the needs and the gap. Actually, cybersecurity has become an essential component for the national cybersecurity systems in any country. And in order to be prepared for the cyber attack, as it has become part of preparing for a traditional war attack, as you know, even if it's in a different way. However, specialization in cybersecurity sector suffers from a serious lack. As the estimated figure indicates that the number of vacancies in the world cybersecurity could reach 1.8 million jobs by 2022. So again, we need the organic path of university graduates, but it's not enough to fill the need. Therefore, we need to have initiatives and special programs in order to fill this gap between supply and demand. Here in Jordan, I would like to highlight the initiatives that we are working and we have it in the ministry, which is a training and employment program for ICT graduates for training in technical, life and soft skills. Since 2019, the ministry has been training fresh graduates from the ICT major in cooperation with Al Hussein Technical University and with support of Vocational and Technical Skills Development Authority by holding an intensive free training program with the aim to bridge the gap between supply and demand. Through this training, the objectives is to qualifying graduates for the labor market needs, which will qualify them to obtain work opportunities immediately after the training. The training period is for 3 months with total 300 training hours. Which includes training in latest emerging technology, including cybersecurity. In addition, also to life and soft skills that needed in the labor market. This program and initiatives aims to improve the skills of unemployed Jordanian ICT and engineers graduates and support them to have opportunities to work. The training served the industry by creating a talent pipeline in a skill scarce field. The project technical components are also, this is very important point, are demand-driven and co-delivered with industrial partners. So this is one initiative that are working in order to fill the needs and to fill the gap between supply and demand. And for sure, we have to work more and more and to have more initiatives and a program such as this one.
That's a very nice initiative to link basically the market demand with the future talent, especially for the unemployed, so they can prepare them to the market and what are the needed skill set. Abeer, can you please provide your input on this point as well, because it's very important?
Yes, thank you. We have similar initiatives to the ones Nada has just been talking about. The Ministry of, under the auspices of the Ministry of Information Communication Technology here in Egypt, the ITI, or the Information Technology Institute, has been providing for several years now dedicated learning, a dedicated curriculum for college graduates in a specialized cybersecurity track. So it's covering different areas in cybersecurity. It's a 9-month program. They study penetration testing. They study a very short introduction to governance and security standards, but not in really in a lot of depth. But they go in depth in penetration testing, in SOC operations, Security Operations Center needed qualifications, and vulnerability scanning. So this program has been now in place for several years, and it's witnessing a lot of what do you call it? A lot of iqbal, yani, from the different graduates. But the real demand for cyber talent is, increasing in the banking industry. So that's why ITI graduates are supplying their their services to all graduates in the different sectors. But for banking, banks are now going to cooperate with the Egyptian Banking Institute to similar to ITI, set learning curricula and for tracks for the different roles in cybersecurity. For a SOC analyst, for vulnerability analyst, for cyber threat analyst, for penetration tester, network, mobile, web applications. So they are going to set also a track for each of them. It's not a lot of in-depth courses, but just prepares the recent graduates for the workforce. So it gives them all the necessary basics up to let's say an intermediate level of knowledge, and this is going to be sponsored by the major banks, so that we are able to have an ecosystem that tries to supply the market with the needed cyber talent, because there is increasing demand. So hopefully more initiatives are going to launch to support the addition of new talent that are needed very much, of course, nowadays.
Thank you, Abeer. So I think from what Abeer and Nada mentioned about the recent graduates and the programs that the governments and different institutions are instilling to basically train those fresh graduates, I think it's very clear that we do have challenges when it comes to the organic path of the universities to the market, and that we need to instill more of the demand into the curricula that is basically taught and provided in the universities. But if I want to ask Ruba, you talked previously on the inclusion of robotics and AI to compensate for the gap of talent. So that would be like the non-organic path to providing talent and compensating for the gap. Can you please provide us with more information on other means that we can use for that compensation?
Sure. So I just want to tap into one point that was mentioned by Nada and Abeer. I personally believe education in cybersecurity should be early on in schools. We had a fintech actually session today, and one of the key things we talked about is actually training our kids on what financial services is all about, fintech, what it's all about. So I believe that including it in the curriculum of schools is quite important, because as I said, cybersecurity is something, it's a mindset, it's how we live, how we operate, how we think. So it has to be incorporated early on, so the way we think changes and differs. It's not an afterthought. So this is one aspect I would like to mention. The second aspect is one of the key ways of overcoming this gap of 3.5 million. I had mentioned it earlier, like a global gap, is like cross-country collaboration of in the Arab world, because we have great youth. We have, and if we capitalize and work on that youth, and we work on that cross-collaboration across Egypt, Jordan, Saudi, GCC countries, North African, Arab countries, and so forth, and try to bridge the gap, it means that our challenges become less, because we do have a huge population of youth in our region. So if we create this collaboration between these countries, it means we will be able somehow, some way to overcome these gaps. And I would also like to focus on a very, very important point. We used to talk about virtual reality, and virtual reality is deployed everywhere today. Virtual reality is deployed in gaming, and it's a great threat, by the way, because hunters and attackers actually use that to attack kids, to use that to get into a network and so forth. And that's virtual reality. What about metaverse? What about metaverse and what it's bringing to our lives today, and how we're going to live our lives moving forward? So using technology, using the same concepts that are deployed today to introduce different services, and try to capitalize on that and use it in developing cybersecurity solutions and applications, in addition to AI and as I mentioned, robotics. Startups are key, because startups would look at the gaps. Startups in cybersecurity will try to bring to the table applications, services, ideas to overcome the gap of that we having in the current and the future resources. And I believe this will highly change the way we operate as a region. We will start to bring inventions. We were always deploying technology rather than inventing technology. I think if we have our youth focus on, okay, I can look at the gap today, I have the technology that I can utilize to bring in innovation, and innovation is key. And I think this will change everything in our lives and in the next generations to come.
Thank you, Ruba. To go back to one of the points that Ruba mentioned now, Nada, we've seen that in some countries, not in MENA region, so outside globally, they are basically including some cybersecurity in their school education. What's going on that front in MENA, and do we see any deployment or adoption for that topic here?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dima. Actually, I'm totally agree with what Ruba just mentioned about the school, and we have to upgrade the school curriculum to include cybersecurity. Actually, here I would like to share with you the Jordanian initiatives regarding of this regards. The current national Jordanian curriculum for public schools for primary and secondary education contains computer material. This material contains chapters on information security, privacy, IT risks, cybercrime, encryption, and encryption algorithms. However, it's not enough. Therefore, in 2020, the ministry started a new project, namely Youth Technology and Jobs Project, YTJ, which capitalized on Jordan's competitive advantages in the ICT sector, and through a combination of incentive packages, partnerships, and capacity building program, support producing highly enabled and competitive and skilled IT sectors and workforce that will meet the needs of major local, regional, and global ICT markets and enterprises. This project is a 5 years project funded from World Bank Group, which aims to improve digitally enabled income opportunities in Jordan, including development and the rollout of digital skills curriculum, including cybersecurity, data analytics, AI, blockchain, all emerging technologies, and focusing on grades from 7 to 12 in public schools. This activity will enhance and develop the curriculum for the public schools and aims to identify the gaps in the existing IT curriculum in schools, including cyber needs and digital transformation needs. In addition, to develop the context relevant to technology, and for sure we need a training program for teachers on the new curriculum. Then roll out the new curriculum in a systematic way across public schools, and for sure we need to set a program for sustainability.
That's very positive to hear, and it's great that one of the countries in MENA has really adopted this this initiative. We hope that others would also follow. So ladies, if we want to talk about the platforms that are available to support women in cybersecurity and to celebrate women in cybersecurity, we have a few examples that I actually knew of very recently as well. So can you please provide us with input? Maybe Abeer can start with the WISME initiative as well.
Yes, that's my favorite question now, because WISME is very, very dear to my heart. This started as a very small initiative 3 years ago. We were in Dubai in a conference, and the conference organizer, Ahmed Beg, the late Ahmed Beg, he assembled a group of 8 women in one room, and he said, okay, I'll close the room now, and I want you to brainstorm a very creative idea for supporting women in cybersecurity in the whole region. Don't think countries, think the whole Middle East. So this idea of Women in Cybersecurity Middle East group emerged from that point onwards, and it really grew. Now we were just 8 women, now we are 1,500 from different countries. Different countries, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. We have also Jordan, Lebanon, North Africa, we have Tunisia, Algeria. So many countries are, of course, the UAE. So many countries have women participating in that group, and we have several activities. We exist also on different platforms. So the group exists on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, on Telegram. We have a dedicated YouTube channel that documents all the activities that the group is currently doing and supporting the young talent with. On annual basis, we have a regional conference that, of course, because of COVID in the last 2 years, we've been doing it virtually, but we invite women, role models from different parts of the world, not from the region only, and they come and talk to our ladies, and they give sessions, and they participate in panel discussions. And we also, alongside the conference, organize Capture the Flag competitions, CTFs. We started, having diverse teams. We had a rule, okay, you want to participate in the competition, you must be a team that includes at least 1 woman. So it's men and women working together in the different teams and winning together. Because prior to those CTFs, I've been seeing other CTFs in the country or abroad that, they don't specify male or female in the group, they just leave it. So out of comfort, the boys gather up together and the girls may gather up together, and then it's a lot of boys and little girls. So we wanted to have really truly diverse teams working together and experiencing the winning together, getting comfortable working together. So I think this is one important achievement. We also have awards, and we get judges from expert judges from different countries globally as well, and they participate willingly because they see the initiative growing. And I'm very impressed with all the women who have become part of the initiative, part of WSIMI, because they are all very passionate. We are starting also mentoring, and mentoring is going to include all the willing expert women who are going to be matched with the cyber talent who in the different domains who want to learn and be mentored by them. So I think this is a very great initiative for all women in the different countries to join, and we grow together, inshallah.
Inshallah, this is very, very positive. Do we have any other initiatives that we can talk about in the MENA region?
Just allow me to say we have a smaller initiative than the one Abeer had mentioned, but for me, it was a great, I didn't know about women in cybersecurity platform, and I think it's a great learning experience for, and I would like actually later on to touch base with Abeer and create a collaboration with an initiative we have in Jordan under the umbrella of SheTex. SheTex is it's an initiative that focuses on enabling women in technology. And one of the things we did a platform, and that platform includes women in cybersecurity and women in fintech, women across the different tech verticals, whereby any talent, any fresh grads can actually touch base with these women, these role models, and have a chit chat, guidance, consultancy, and so forth. I believe that Abeer, you took it to the next level. So I think it's quite important that we create a collaboration, and this is, I think, this is the strength we have in the region. It's this collaboration that we can capitalize on. And SheTex has been there since 2018. We're taking it to the next level and creating a unit under Intaj that focusing on enabling women in technology and working with all stakeholders within Jordan and outside of Jordan. So I think this panel is a very, very good start for this collaboration. Also, hopefully we can do the same in Saudi and so forth.
Perfect, perfect. I think Nada or Arwa, if you have other initiatives that you would like to share as well.
If you may, Dima. Actually, there is another initiatives from ITU, International Telecommunication Union Mentorship Program, specifically for women. There will be a group of mentors and mentees working together in a mentorship program related to cybersecurity specifically. And also again to what Ruba, what Abeer has just mentioned about WSIMI. Actually, it's my pleasure to share with you that I'm really proud to be among the winners and having Women Cybersecurity Consultant Award in 2021, 2 months ago for the Middle East. And really, it's a good platform and group that I learn a lot from them.
Excellent. So we have 2 winners of that on the panel. Great.
I just want to say I really proud to be member of the group and a winner also as well. And I also want to say that I witnessed their effort in the conference. I witnessed their effort in the social media. And I want to say I'm really proud of their group in the Middle East. Another platform I can mention here, there is a CIS global cybersecurity community for women. They have also next conference. It will be in next March, 17-19, from 17 to 19. I encourage all women to register and be in their conference. This is additional platform.
Perfect, perfect. Ladies, that was a great discussion. Do you have any final thoughts before we sign off?
I just want to thank everyone here on the panel. Thank you, Dima, for great moderation. And I do hope that this session inspired a lot of women to get into cybersecurity.
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you. I also want to thank our audience, and I'm very pleased to be with all of us today. And I just want to say one final word to all women who want to join the field. It's not an easy one. So yes, we're talking about supporting women. It's not easy. It is demanding. It is a demanding field, but it's also a very rewarding one. So, you know, roll up your sleeves and and get ready for the exciting adventure. But you know, you have to be ready and prepared, and you have to have the passion. So I wish them all good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abeer. If you may, Dima, I would like to thank you all. And I think it's about having everyone's support and participation, men and women, working together. So we can start encouraging, same like just Abeer mentioned, encouraging to hire more women in cybersecurity industry, and to encourage women to play a certain role in cybersecurity. So we will have a comprehensive and inclusive cybersecurity ecosystem. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I just want to thank you all. And a final word I would say for all the women, don't wait for the right opportunity, create yours. And if you need to achieve something, work on it. And if you want to be successful in cybersecurity, doesn't mean that you have only technical skills. We need you different skills, logical thinking, communication, and the ability to understand new trend. Yes, and good luck for you all.
Thank you, Arwa. Thank you.
Thank
you, ladies, again. It was an honor to have you. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Dima.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.